To put it bluntly, the Brooklyn Nets was an absolute shit show the moment this season began. Being 19th in offensive rating and 28th in defensive rating, there were just a myriad of problems that was affecting this team. Kevin Durant calling out his teammates on social media and wondering who else do you have other than Kyrie, Ben, and him, and then there's everybody else. Kyrie, well, being Kyrie. Steve Nash looking like the absolute worst guy to be the coach for this team, and Ben Simmons not looking anywhere near what he did in Philadelphia, even in the last year he was there. There's just too many problems to count for this team, and it looked like they should have done what KD asked and just blown this up in the summer. But since November 1st and the firing of Steve Nash, this team has almost completely flipped on its head. Since November 1st, they've been 6th in offensive rating and 9th in defensive rating, and are currently lighting up the NBA on an 8-game winning streak, and they're firmly 4th in the Eastern Conference, and they could very well end probably in the top 3, probably even top 2. I don't put it past them at the end of the season with the talent they do have on this roster. So, how did this team do it? How did they turn around what looked like an absolute shit show of a season into what it is now? Before I get started, hi, I'm MFLB. We've been making basketball content on YouTube for a little minute now, and it's been picking up some traction lately. So, if you enjoy basketball content, I'm your guy. We post 4 times a week. And there's a couple things that's led to this. One, off-court issues for certain players has definitely smoothed itself out, allowing them to play completely for the full season. Certain guys have gotten a rhythm as the season's gone on. Kevin Durant has been Kevin Durant. And with Jacques Vaughn here, new coaching change, meaning new coaching philosophy, which fits perfectly for this team. And of course, sometimes you just need a new voice in the locker room whenever you checked out on the previous coach. And Jacques Vaughn has definitely been that positive voice needed in this locker room. But one player that's definitely smoothed out his off-court issues has been Kyrie Irving, who in the past 17 games have been able to play 15 of them, and the Nets have won 13 of the 15 he's played. And he's averaged 25 points per game, 4.9 rebounds, and 4.3 assists on his uber efficient 50% from the field, 38% from 3, and 91% from the free throw line on some of those difficult shots in the game. Kyrie is just going to continue to be Kyrie, being the steady offensive hand that this team needs next to Kevin Durant, and be one of their go-to options in crunch time whenever the game does get close. He just hit a game winner against Toronto the last couple days. And another guy I do want to give some props to is Ben Simmons, because in the Nets' first 13 games, he was only able to suit up for 9 of them and only started 6 of them. And in those games, he only averaged 5.2 points, 6.2 rebounds, 5.9 assists on 44% shooting. And keep in mind, those are all at the rim. And you all saw the videos going on the timeline. Ben Simmons just screening for people and not doing anything after setting the screen, just being a body out there, either clogging the paint or not really being a help to this team at all. Predicated by this video of Kyrie even yelling at him saying, "Shoot it, Ben!" when he didn't take a shot directly in the paint. But since then, a lot has changed. He's been able to play in 14 of the next last 19 games. He started 12 of those games, and in those games, he's averaged 10.5 points, 7.1 rebounds, 6.2 assists, 1.5 steals on 70% shooting, and he's been the defensive monster he's always been in the league. And he's been a +6 while he's on the floor for this team. And for a little while there, he was having a nice run before he re-aggravated his back a little bit, where he was averaging 15 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, 5.8 assists, 1.3 steals, 1.2 blocks, on 82% shooting from the field in about a 6-game stretch. And it was against some pretty good competition too. And of course, I don't need to talk about KD, because 30 points per game, uber efficient, 56% of the field, just the most talented scorer this game has ever seen. It's as simple as that. But there's also the philosophy change. The Nets went from what was a pseudo-heliocentric offense that just surrounded KD and Kyrie, and whatever they did was the way this team went, to now being more of a movement offense that is predicated on a lot of ball movement. In that stretch in the beginning of the season where they lost 6 out of their first 8 games, the Nets were ranked 15th in assists per game in the NBA. Since then, it has been a world of changes. They're now ranked 3rd at 27 assists per game, and this change has been brought on by a team effort. They don't really have a true point guard on this team. Kyrie is a cutthroat scorer, a combo guard. Ben Simmons doesn't have the ball in his hands as much to be a playmaker. He's more of a quick pass guy that's be able to get guys involved on the fast break, but not really handle the ball in the half-court setting. So this has been more of a team effort and ball movement. These guys move the ball side to side, set screens, and they know what to do and to make the extra pass to find their shooters. And that's really helped the offense overall. Keeping other guys engaged in the offense makes them more dangerous, which makes it a lot easier for KD and Kyrie to do their thing once it does get to the time where they need to score. Not to mention, with the return of TJ Warren and Seth Curry, their bench scoring has taken it to itself to another level. Again, in that stretch in the beginning of the season, they were ranked 28th in bench scoring in the NBA. Now they're ranked at middle of the pack at 14th. With guys like TJ Warren, Yuta Watanabe, Edmund Sumner, Cam Thomas come off the bench, guys that can either get their own shot or know how to play team basketball, that can all shoot and dribble and get to the rim. It's very easy for their bench to come in and take up where the starters come off and at least keep this team either in the game or sometimes make a lead bigger for when Kyrie and KD do come back on the floor. But I think somebody else that deserves a lot of credit for what he's been able to do, not only defensively for this team, but also offensively as a screener, is Nic Claxton. 11.8 points per game, 8 rebounds, 2.3 blocks per game, and 74% from the field. One of the better defensive big in the game. The only problem that's really he has that you hope that he would develop is that rebounding. This team can't rebound for shit. But he has been great on the defensive end for this team, being that rim deterrent, and he's been great in the pick and roll, being one of the best screen setters in the NBA and understanding how to get his guys going downhill in any screens situation and knowing how to catch guys. He's, I think, one of the league leaders in screen assists, and he is very much a large part of the reason why this offense has become so deadly. Now, the offensive philosophy changes not just on the ball movement, it is on how they get their shots and what shots they do take. The Brooklyn Nets are different from other NBA teams because they're predicated on the mid-range jumper as their main form of attack. Even in this stretch where this team is 19-7 since November 1st, they're ranked bottom 5 in drives per game at 39. Their offense is predicated on mid-range jumpers and the three-point shot. Today's NBA is normally focused on either at the rim or at the three-point line. But the Brooklyn Nets not only do take a lot of mid-rangers, they also make a ton of them as their top 5 in mid-range efficiency in the NBA this season. And of course, when you have players like Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, of course you're going to have a lot of mid-range shots being taken. But they also have a couple of the players that's taking over 2 mid-range attempts per game in Seth Curry and TJ Warren. And those are guys coming off the bench that are holding this offense up when those 2 guys are on the bench. These guys just take what the defense is giving them and they realize that certain shots are just easier and they're not forcing their way to the rim. Now, that's also leading to them not being one of the best free throw shooting teams, or doesn't take a lot of free throws. And I think that would be important as the season does go on. But right now, this offense is working for him. It's working for him. You have guys like Yuta Watanabe shooting 50% from 3 still. You have guys like Joe Harris that's a sniper already and he's shooting 38% from 3 this season. I can see that going up in the 40s as the season does go on with how this offense is playing. Overall, this team has completely turned itself around. Jacques Vaughn, while I still have some gripes with some of the lineups he does put out there, he's been the perfect guy to come in and help change the feeling of this locker room, or he's just the new face that always needed to be there and just needed to get Steve Nash out, because Steve Nash, no matter how many complaints you have about Jacques Vaughn, Steve Nash was very much far worse. KD has continued to give you the stellar play that he has all season, and Kyrie Irving has stayed out of the media and has let all his play on the court do all the talking. Ben Simmons has finally gotten back to the player that he was, or not really that far, but he's definitely getting there. I think later in the season, we're definitely going to see a different guy in Ben Simmons. And guys like Nic Claxton has been the perfect role player for this team. And then you add in how the bench has been playing and you realize why this team is now 19-7 in their past 26 games and on an 8-game winning streak. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think the Brooklyn Nets can keep up this level of play? They've been great this year. I don't see a team other than maybe the Boston Celtics that have the personnel to beat them, because you need to not only be extremely switchable, but you need to also have guys that can just guard KD or Kyrie one-on-one in certain situations. And only the Boston Celtics is a team that I think has that type of personnel and defensive philosophy to even give this team any trouble. But with that being said, let me know what you think. Do you think they can come out the East? But with that being said, this is FLB. That's my time, and I'm out.